As parents, there's nothing in the world we love more than our children. When they suffer, we suffer. So if your child is easily overwhelmed in large crowds, always touching everything, or doesn't pick up on social cues or understand personal space, not only can it be frustrating, but absolutely heartbreaking to watch them struggle with stressful sensory situations. There is not a one size fits all for sensory processing challenges, but SPD, or sensory processing disorder, is a condition that affects how the brain and nervous system process stimuli. It can affect all five general senses: touch, smell, sense of sight, taste, and hearing. If your child struggles with SPD, you already know its effects. So in this video, we'll look at the root causes and the specific test that we can use to measure the struggle. Yes, you heard that right. There is a test we can use to quantify how struggle it is for your child to process this. And then, even more importantly, get to work helping make the sensory processing system more comfortable and able to handle stimuli. This is for moms and dads who want to dive deeper into how to help their child with sensory struggles. Most likely, they have tried therapies, diets, and often avoid situations that are difficult altogether to no or very little avail. Let's get into finding the root cause of sensory processing disorder. There are two different kinds of sensory processing challenges. There's sensory avoiding, which is when they don't want to be touched, or there's sensory seeking, when they're always in need of more stimulation. And children can most definitely have a mix of both. To find the root cause of these struggles, we have to go all the way back to your child's development, often even before delivery. One of the very first things to develop in utero is the brain and autonomic nervous system. So if our mothers are left in a constant state of distress and anxiety, or if there's a lot of stressful situations in pregnancy, this can greatly affect the developing infant's brain and nervous system. It almost pre-wires them to that stress, so they're already coming out in a higher state of stress. Another trigger is birth intervention and trauma, such as forceps, vacuum extraction, induction, C-section, etc. These can disrupt the function of the brainstem and upper cervical spinal cord regions, which are the most important areas for processing and integrating sensory information before it reaches the brain. Think of the brainstem as your air traffic controller for all of your child's senses, where it's responsible for not only organizing and processing the information, but keeping out unwanted or annoying information. Extra noise, if you will. This unwanted and annoying information is known as nociception. The reason your child may be avoiding certain stimuli is to avoid additional noisy and stressful situations that they can't yet tolerate. Additionally, if they're constantly moving and seeking out physical touch and stimulation, they are doing so in order to bring about proprioception, which is a sense of movement, figuring out where their body is in space. While it may not seem like it, all of that movement and touching things is actually calming their brain down because it gets a better idea of where it is. Now, it shouldn't have to use all those tools in order to figure out where it is, which is why we want to make that system work better. Let's talk about the sensory processing disorder test that we use to see how deep-seated this is in their system and how we can manage it and help it function better. It's one thing to talk through why it's happening, but more importantly is how do we help it? The nervous system is a two-way street. One set of nerves is called the sensory nerves, and that send information and report to the brain and brainstem precisely what's going on inside the body, its internal environment, and outside the body, or its external environment. The other set of nerves is more what is termed motor control, nerves that send signals out from the brain and spinal cord and tell various parts of the body what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, etc. These systems work in coordination with each other. If the brain can't get proper sensory input in, if it can't figure out what's going on around it or inside of it, it can't then get out good motor control and tell the body what to do because it can't quite tell what's going on. As parents, we measure these systems through the symptoms they produce, but it often doesn't tell the whole story of what's going on inside the body within the nervous system. This is why taking a test to look under the surface, under the hood, is so incredibly important with children who struggle with sensory processing disorder. The best part is that this test can be done very easily and comfortably in the office. This test, which is conducted in our office, consists of 3 different neurosensory scans from technology called the Insight scans. So we have the neurothermal scans, neurospinal EMG scans, and the heart rate variability scans. These Insight scans are all about finding, tracking, and understanding if subluxation and dysautonomia are present. And if they are, we need to know 2 things about them. 1, how significant or severe, mild, moderate, severe, or intense, and where within the neurospinal system are things primarily located. Think of the neurospinal system as the fuse box to your house. While our nervous system is quite a bit more intricate and complex than that, many of the sensory and motor nerves function similarly. In our office, we use the neurofuse chart to help us better track and locate where and what kind of trouble the subluxation and dysautonomia may be causing. Making sure this system is working at full function is simply the most important exam and assessment any pediatric provider could ever perform for your child. Put simply, if the nervous system isn't calm on the inside, sensory symptoms will show on the outside. In just 10 to 15 minutes, these safe and non-invasive scans can find, measure, and locate subluxation in your child's autonomic nervous system. These scans help us put together a customized care plan that fits your child's exact needs and start to restore function and balance to the autonomic nervous system. This is the missing link to help your child with their sensory processing challenges. Click the associated article in our bio or go to the website to learn more information.